Guillermo. Emil Amok to you, coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia. That's right. I'm in this Vancouver Fringe. My show, Emil Amok 69. Emil Amok 69. Is it a sex show? No, well, it could be possibly. Everything's flipped, so we flip it around and right side up, upside down. It's kind of all the same. We do this show. It's a comedy, and look at what people have said about it. Comical, often often profound observations. When they're not profound, then they're just who knows what they are. Illogical. I don't know. Manhattan Digest said that. That's not like the Manhattan Project. They didn't like do their thing and suddenly, oh, we've got a nuclear bomb. Its name is Emil Amok. They didn't say that. Oh well, look what these guys said. A stand-up monologue rant. Enjoy keeping pace with Guillermo's brilliant mind. I didn't say that. My mother didn't say that. It was these guys. Oh, look, where's that floating ball there? Uh, Funny, poignant. Orlando Weekly said that. And I won an award from the New York City Fringe one time. Hey, look, so this is, I get that reflection out. Emil Muck 69. Next plays Saturday on the 6th at 7:30, Wednesday 9:10 at 5 p.m., Thursday 9:11 at 9:25 p.m., Friday 9:12 at 6:15. Oh, that 9:11 show should be fun. Should be fun. It'll be different. I'll be talking about 9/11 in Canada. Sunday 9:14 at 4:20 p.m. That's that's the senior special. You can scan this QR code. I'm pointing to the QR code, and you can go and get tickets online through that QR code. I'm at the review stage in Vancouver, in Granville Island. I have never been to Granville Island. I've been to Vancouver, but never been to Granville Island. And what a place Granville Island is! I'm just, I mean, it's once you're there, you say, wow, this is an ideal setting for a city. With the water, and it reminds me so much of San Francisco. The north, well, it's very Seattle, you might say. It's very beautiful up here in Vancouver, and of course, I'm doing my show Emil Amok 69, where I am an American in Canada seeking a cure for Trump derangement syndrome. Not necessarily mine, but someone else's. Maybe I can help you. Anyway, it's a show Emil Amok 69. There it is. The QR code is everything. Yeah, you get it. Did you get the? That's how you get your tickets. Hopefully, you'll see me. This is our regular program. On Fridays, I like to talk about the news and the week, not week people, but the news of the week, the duration of time, with my friend, Professor Emeritus, San Francisco State University, Asian American Studies, Filipino American Studies, College of Ethnic Studies, Daniel Phil Gonzalez. And let us welcome him now to the enterprise here. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Hey, hey, glad to hear from you. Thanks for having me on. It's Friday,
Of
and
course,
you're in Vancouver, one of my
of course.
favorite cities
Fridays.
in the whole freaking world. You know,
It's so beautiful here,
it is
and
beautiful.
I only,
It's
whenever I come here, I only usually see like just a section. Like one time I was here for a wedding and I went up to the mountain, Grouse
yeah,
Mountain, I think
Grouse
it's
Mountain.
called,
Yeah,
and beautiful there. And then I one time I was near Burnaby and on the eastern side, and this time I'm on the west side. I can't believe I've never been to Chinatown, which is north,
it's it's
closer to
it's
the
one of the
downtown.
largest Chinatowns outside China.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. And then there's a Granville
Right,
Island,
right.
which is on the west side, and it's the arts district, and that's where
Yeah,
my theater is. I'm at the review stage there. It's a great theater,
lucky
about
you, man.
180 seats. Yeah, soft seats on your butt. So if I want to go 5 minutes longer, I can't, or 10 minutes. Oh, don't say shit. I mean, but I'm not as concerned about people's comfort. I'm worried about discomforting laughs,
Yeah,
because I'm piercing
that's your
away
comfort.
at the
Getting laughs and giggles. That's a
right. But it's fun. It's been fun. We opened yesterday, had a good show. had a nice crowd. Could use more people. Could use more people. I'm not saying that we're selling out. I'm saying that there's a nice, comfortable crowd, and we have our next show at 7:30 on Saturday night. Yeah, 7:30 on Saturday night. 9/6. Oh, we have a 9/11 show, and I've got a special 9/11 story that I'm going to share on 9/11. It's if you're in Vancouver, if you're in Seattle, hey, it's worth the drive. It doesn't cost you anything. Well, I guess gas, but people in Vancouver, if you're close, yeah, come on over to British Columbia. You know, Lapu Lapu, that whole tragedy where 11 people died, that still lingers. Not everyone talks about it,
Hmm.
but it still lingers here in Vancouver. And I wrote a column in the Inquirer.net back in April when it happened. And the liberals were so far behind. Mark Carney, who was running, dispensed with campaigning and went to Vancouver and honored the dead and laid some flowers and went to the memorial. Took some time from campaigning. Meanwhile, what did Donald Trump do? Even though when world leaders were saying, "Oh, Vancouver, Canada, we're sorry, 11 people died." I mean, this is like one of the worst tragedies ever in Canada. And Trump, all he could do was go to the tweet and say, "Hey, look, tomorrow's the election, and if you want to be smart, go with the person who's going to make Canada the 51st state." That's what Trump did. And I reminded people of that, and I kind of hit because it's still kind of fresh, even though it happened in April. It's still kind of fresh what's going on,
Well, it
or
was the
or
deadliest.
how
It was the deadliest mass attack in the history of Vancouver. So
yeah.
whether or not it was Filipinos involved, it's a marker for that experience for Canadians generally, and
Oh,
and and for Vancouver citizens, obviously, and residents.
yeah, and not only Filipinos were hurt, there were
That's
some
right.
non-Filipinos who were in the crowd because the guy went in with a car and or some kind of van. And also the bottom line, of course, is it is a mental health issue, and I don't know if they've addressed that. There's all sorts of recommendations about, oh, we need better law enforcement, we need better protection,
Yeah.
or
Well,
better
By the
security.
Republican
But
standard, then Asian people with mental health problems should be denied driver's licenses.
well, that would be a remedy,
That's
right?
what you really
That
need to
would be
do.
an
You need to get, I'm telling you,
that
man, that's what has to happen.
talk
Okay.
up
You know,
talk about the stereotype. The
people keep
stereotype.
saying, the Republicans
We
keep
know
saying
that
there is no law that would stop this from happening. I can tell you right now, if they just denied driver's licenses to people of Asian descent, that would stop these crimes.
that would be the most that would take care of it.
It would
That would
also
be
stop
because
all of the
you
racist
would
jokes about
eliminate.
how Asians can't drive.
Right. Well, you'd eliminate about 98% of all the bad drivers if you did that. Right.
You'd eliminate.
So, uh, all the bad drivers. If you didn't give them driver's
uh,
license, you say, oh, they're the
well,
walkers. They're the people
they could
walking.
limit
Oh,
it
actually,
geographically. In San Francisco, you could limit it geographically and say that all of the Asians who live
yeah.
in the Richmond district, all right, can
Mm.
should be
Oh,
denied
yeah, yeah.
driver's
Well,
licenses.
look,
Yeah, then everybody would move to the
here,
Sunset.
here,
Then it would
here
get bad there. Then we'd have to expand it to the
yeah.
Sunset.
Hey, look, here's one of the things I noticed up in Canada. People are very green. They don't like
Oh
to,
man,
use paper too
did you
much.
notice?
Yeah,
Did you notice that
and they
everybody
love
walks
and
on weekends? Everybody walks.
yeah, yeah.
They use their public parks. It's like half of the population of Vancouver's walking around, everywhere.
No, it's amazing. They're walking, they're
Yep,
biking, they're
yep.
doing they're taking public transit.
Oh yeah.
It really is a reminder that this is like the little things we can do to make our world better and to just be conscious of climate change and what we can do. I mean, I haven't even gotten into eating vegan. Although in my play I do talk about veganism and it is something they're so aware of that here. So anyway,
They're generally
I
aware.
really like Vancouver.
They're more global in their orientation. They're generally
Mhm.
aware. Well, I've
Yeah.
had transfer students coming from Canada. They knew more about American history than Native American students. I'm talking about
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see
not
that.
First Nation people. I'm talking about people born here, raised here. The Canadian students had much more on the ball, and they're much more mature.
Although,
What?
yeah. Although, when I mentioned this in my play about the Spanish American War and the U.S. Philippine War,
Right,
there's a lot of holes in people's knowledge about the US. Well, in America and in Canada,
right.
and people don't understand that. Oh, wow, if the Philippines was the first colony of the United States, how can the people who freed themselves from being colonized, how can then they go on and colonize another country? It's one of those things, the contradictions of life, right? I guess Hegel would call it the dialectic, where everything kind of
Yeah, see,
kind of
when you look at
negates
things
the
from a
other.
global perspective, right, and you look at the way each nation deals with world
Mm,
history, okay, the Philippines
mhm.
ain't going to be one of the major places that they're
It's
going to
not
look.
top of mind,
That's the
right?
problem. They're going to, at most, they're going to look at Asia. At most, they're going to look at Asia, and
At
then
most. But Dan, remember when George W. Bush wanted an alliance to go into the Gulf, right, to start the war, and he looked for people to back him up. Who was there first
yep,
to back him up? The
they got to.
Philippines. I mean, the Philippines came to George W. Bush's rescue, but you know what? I mean, suddenly the Philippines then had status equal to Israel, and they had status equal to these other countries that play bigger. I mean, the Philippines was like Pacquiao fighting above his weight, right? But we don't. I don't. Since Pacquiao is a homophobe, I don't talk about him too much. I did
Yeah,
there though. So
yeah.
it's unfortunate because he's I guess he's trying to get into the senior boxing category. I think that's called suicide though. Senior senior
Yeah.
senior boxing. Yeah, that's called senior abuse.
Yeah.
So hey,
Yeah.
anyway, Dan, we
Okay,
wanted to
where are we
talk. We
going?
want to talk about how sensitive Canadians were to COVID. Because I noticed, I hear. I mean, I know you're recovering. You're getting well. It looks like you're healthier, and that's great.
Yeah, I'm good.
But yeah, but people here are very. I think I've seen some people with masks, and
Good,
they're
good
they're
for
doing
them.
they're fist bumping more. I
Yes,
see more
good for
fist
them.
bumps. Yeah, fist bumping. So anyway, and
Well,
and we aren't done. And this is central to the conversation with RFK Jr.
yes, COVID
the
is
other
making
day
a
and with
comeback right
vaccines.
now. COVID is making a comeback. It's coming back in the Bay Area. And my last trip to the supermarket, I was the only person wearing a mask. Of course, it wasn't that
Yeah,
crowded, but
I was the
I was the only
yeah
person.
I was the only one on the airplane. Yeah, with a mask
Whoa,
on. I mean
that's not good
yeah.
news.
I
That's
mean
one
the
of the
only
worst
one.
places.
I know. Yeah, that's Germville.
Oh man,
You know,
I
when you're up in the
I
airplane,
was
it's
perfectly fine
Germville.
on a trip to New York, and then I got on a plane,
Yeah.
and I
Mm-hmm.
felt kind of funny, on that 5 hour trip on the plane,
Mm-hmm.
and by the time I got
Yeah.
home, I was sick, and the only place that I
Oh
could have
yeah.
gotten
Yeah.
that was on the plane, and it's because of the recirculated air.
Yeah, planes and hospitals. They're the worst.
Sure,
They're worse for germs. All right, so we're very we're in Canada now. I'm reading all these
beautiful
articles
place,
about relocating.
beautiful.
I know exactly what I need. I don't need a visa for if I just stay up here for 6 months. I don't need a visa. I can just come back down, a quick
No,
turnaround.
it's coming back
Thinking
in here.
about it,
It's
I
coming
mean,
back here. That's the risk.
oh yeah, yeah, because you don't look. I have a passport, but I don't look
Yeah,
American,
well, they're
right?
gonna ice you up,
That's the
man. They're
problem.
gonna pull you over and check out the authenticity of your identification materials. Show me your
Yeah, yeah,
papers. Show me your
yeah.
papers. And then
That's a real
now
thing.
ICE is hiring like crazy down here, and a lot of college people, recent graduates who haven't been able to get a gig, are going to sign up for ICE.
Well, they
I
get
can't wait for
signing
them to show up
bonuses.
here.
Yeah, I
Oh, they're
mean,
gonna,
they get
when
signing
they come to
bonuses.
San Francisco, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna confront people from ICE, right here in San
Yeah.
Francisco when they come in significant numbers. I'm gonna go down there. Of course,
Look,
I'm going to have my passport with me.
yeah, but a lot of those guys who sign up, they do it because, like what's his name? Superman, right? He wants to be a nice guy. Signing bonus.
Right, right.
Dean Cain. Dean Cain said he wants to be a nice
Yep,
guy.
that's what he
Look,
said. That was embarrassing.
yeah. Well, the problem with it is that they need all the cuts that they made on the budgets. It's all to build up ICE into this $11 billion enterprise like the FBI. So the FBI is going after the bad guys, but ICE is going after the really bad, the political bad guys, the
They
immigrants,
keep
right?
saying that.
The people. Yeah. Well,
They
they
keep
go after
saying that, and
everybody.
their recruitment material, and their training material all says the same stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
but then
Well,
they're going to get on the job. What are they confronting on the job, though? When they get on the job, they're confronting normal, regular people. They're
yeah.
confronting people with no criminal backgrounds whatsoever. So how long does that uh, the fallacies that they're being taught and the framing that's being taught to them, right? How long does that last
Yeah.
once they're on the job and they're on the ground and they're actually detaining people, arresting people, and sometimes beating on people because they see them as resisting. Okay.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that they don't do is they don't give people enough time to train, right? You're taking sometimes greenhorns, sometimes you're taking veterans, and that's the worst. If you've got a cop who knows, oh, I know where the parameters are, and I'm going to go right up to you get a retired cop who switches over. I mean, that's the kind of people that they're hiring, not just the young, no, and people who don't know anything, and they might be innocently vicious toward people who they're out there who they've been brainwashed into thinking that's the enemy. But no, it's a sad state, and we should all be concerned because the possibility for abuse is high. So anyway, look, let's talk about the stuff that happened this week because there's a lot of stuff that happened this week. It looks like from today going back a number of reversals. We've got the economic
Oh
news
yeah.
today that looks
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe it's not so great. Maybe Donald Trump, the businessman, doesn't really know what he's doing, right? I mean, you
Uh,
can't run the
Emil
country like a
Amok,
business.
Emil Amok, the master of understatement.
Well, I just want to leave it to people's imagination about how bad things really are. So,
Yeah,
uh, you
well,
know, s- s-
no, their imaginations aren't going to be at
yeah,
play. I am marking my receipts. As we go shopping, and especially
mm,
supermarket shopping, I am marking my
mm,
receipts. Okay, and I have just checked back for 1 month, and the price of chicken, okay, either whole or chicken parts,
yeah.
has gone up by more than 20% in 1 month.
Wow.
In 1 month.
Now you must be buying a foreign chicken. You're not buying the real chicken,
Well, we
then.
are buying organic
You
chickens.
must
Yeah,
be.
yeah, I know. And you're gonna vegan me now and shame me, but we're chicken people.
Yeah. No, no, no. Look, as long as the bones get stuck in your teeth and or you
And we
swallow it
don't
and
have
goes
that
down your
problem.
esophagus and something. I mean, it's not like you're eating chicken soup, which I might forgive chicken soup if you're just getting the bathwater of chickens, the bathwater of the chickens, and you're
Ew.
eating that, and you're not actually
Oh
eating a
no, I'm
chicken.
really
You're not even
familiar with
eating a
wet
chicken,
chickens.
just the
I'm
bathwater.
I'm very familiar with wet chicken smell from my childhood, and 20% of the
Oh
time I
yeah,
was growing up on a farm, so I'm very
oh
familiar.
yeah,
I had to chuck the chickens in the morning, and they didn't smell good, man. They
yeah.
didn't smell good. So
Oh, you were a chicken sexist? Did you check?
chicken,
Did you
chicken,
sex the
chicken
chicks?
chucker. No, no, chick, 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 chick.
Or you were a
Spreading
chicken
the spreading the
chucker?
seeds around, man.
Yeah,
Spreading the seeds around, giving them something to peck at.
I see.
Yeah. That's how I learned about
Oh, no, you were
that's
that
how I
guy.
learned
Okay, all right.
about gestation and sex. Well, at least one end of it.
Ah,
Yeah,
well,
because
that's
there was chicken
yeah. Well,
chicken
you're
roadkill,
you're
chicken roadkill, and the hens that got killed would sometimes their eggs would get spread out on the road, and so you could see that the eggs came out of the chicken, and then it wasn't long after that that you could
yeah.
figure out
Well,
what the animals were doing in the corral had something to do with
Ah,
procreation.
so you were really what they say. You got your sex talk from
Yeah, I
nature.
did. I did. The questions were
Yeah,
very, easy because what I witnessed literally on the ground provoked questions, and so I'd have to go to
yeah,
the adults and ask them what was going on, and they kept on referring me
yeah.
to other
Uh,
adults. I never got I never got any answers. So I had to go and look.
all right, so
That sent me directly to the encyclopedia. So I just went. One of
uh
my father's uncle, my grand uncle, gave me a full set of encyclopedia, man. And at the time, it was
cool.
current. Yeah, it was current. I think they still have that. They still have that. It still exists in my parents' library. But anyway, moving on.
All right, so let's talk about the. All right, so we got the economic news. You're gonna look at the chicken prices. I swear the fake cheese
Oh
prices
yeah,
are like 40% higher. They're
yeah,
still
it's
high.
crazy.
You know, if you get fake cheese would be good. If I mean, I don't know why it's so expensive, but every time if you try to go vegan, sometimes if you're just sticking with the vegetables, that's the thing. Fruits and vegetables. If you go pure vegan and just go fruits and vegetables, you're doing okay. But it's all the processed vegan stuff like
Yeah,
Beyond
that's right.
Meat and
That's
Possible.
right.
You know, those
That's
prices
the
have gone up,
problem.
and so but you can be vegan just going, beans and rice and greens and rice and
Sure, sure.
and that's sort of what I've been discovering. All right, so the
Yeah.
prices are are getting on Trump, and unemployment is up, and how's he going to reverse this?
School supplies are up. The only thing that's
Yeah,
going down is the change in gas. Uh,
yeah,
the type of gas. So that's going to go down. But everything else is going up, and
yeah,
they're talking about.
except
Yeah.
except his approval rating is going down.
I don't really,
Trump's approval
what?
rating.
I check on his approval ratings, and I really don't give a damn. The
Well, it
reason I
doesn't
don't
mean
think it matters
anything.
that much is because as small as the ardent MAGA and Maha people are, that as small as that is,
Yeah,
they still have an overwhelming effect on the direction of the country, politically,
yeah,
socially, culturally. They really have a massive effect. So there's going to be a lot of people of color, for example, that are going to sign up to become ICE operatives, and they're going to do it because they want to prove their Americanness, right? That this
yeah,
is a good way to prove it. I'm a new
yeah,
immigrant. I've seen interviews already. Okay, just check out stuff on the web, man. On social media,
yeah.
people are saying, this is I'm an immigrant, and I'm going to prove my Americanness by going out there and busting other immigrants, right? And
It
sending
would be
people to
better.
places they've
Yeah,
never been.
yeah. It would
Hmm?
be better if they served in the military. I mean, the real military versus because you fight real people, you fight real enemies in the military. In with ICE, you're fighting the fake enemy who is.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. But if 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 the Trump administration had their way, though, they'd
Mhm.
be putting military out there and equipping them with the
Well,
same
that's
kind of
true.
legal power that local police would have if they had their way. And
And
how about
and he wants to
how
do it.
about okay? It's no longer the secret. It's not any longer the Department of Defense. It's
Right,
they're going to call it internal to the Trump administration. They're going to call it the Department of War. Okay,
right. I saw
so
that.
they're going
Yeah,
to move us back 80 years. Okay, to
Department of
when
War.
it was last called the Department of War.
War
Yeah,
on. I mean, used to be we wanted the euphemism. We wanted
that's
the
right.
euphemism Department of
Defense.
Defense. Now we
That's right.
want, hey, screw it. Screw the euphemism.
Yeah,
No
it's
euphemism.
once again it's a fake form of hypermasculinity. Okay,
Yeah.
which is what Trump and Hegseth and Vance are all about. Did you see what Vance's reaction was to Kennedy Jr. being skewered at the
No,
senatorial
no,
hearings.
I didn't see his reaction. What did he say?
It's pretty good. He berated all of the senators, and he said, "You all have supported all kinds of other things, like
Hmm.
abortion. You supported all kinds of
Hmm.
vaccines that have caused real problems." And the last portion of his statement was, "You're full of shit." Literally said that.
Mm. This is what Vance said.
Right,
This is
right
what Vance
on.
said.
Yep, right on social media.
Wow.
You're full of
Well,
shit.
I will say this. I think that Kennedy is right on a couple of things, but he's wrong on a lot of things. And I think that's his problem. He's got an inconsistency of, you know, which boils down to it's all political, right? I mean, he's right on some things, like, dyes and stuff like that. He's wrong on other things, vaccines,
Yeah. Yeah, but
and
he's wrong on
the
the really
fact
big
that,
things. He's really wrong on the really big things. Long-term
well,
illness.
that's one of the problems.
Yeah.
Look, that is a problem. I'm not denying that. But it's hard. It's hard to take Kennedy cafeteria style. I want this and that. I don't want that. Because he's it 100% of the
Well,
time,
what
unfortunately.
I don't understand
And
is this. Okay, even before Trump won his first election, psychiatrists were signing up
mm,
and saying, "You can't. This guy, it should be nowhere near, okay, the seat of power, much less the president of the United States,
yeah,
because he's certifiably nuts." And of course, they did this, analyzing him from a distance. All right, and that's why they could be dismissed.
mm,
But nonetheless, these are people who are willing to risk their reputations and to say that the guy's nuts, that he's unbalanced. Okay. I think he's proven it over and
yeah,
over and over again. Okay. Now, what
yeah.
about Kennedy? Kennedy, I think, where's the discussion about his mental balance? Where's the discussion about
Oh,
his
mental
psychiatric
balance.
condition?
How about his character? I mean, look, he was a heroin addict in college. So
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I know some
I guess
people
the
that
things
came
you do
back
in
from the
college.
war, from Vietnam War, that came back
Mm,
skagged out, as we used to say, hooked on horse or
yeah,
whatever, and they cleaned up.
yeah.
They cleaned up, and they became actually very. Some of them, not everybody, but some of them actually became very important people in terms of doing good for others by the hundreds and the
Yeah.
thousands. They got engaged in doing legal work, as attorneys, or they got engaged in doing social services or government, civil service, and were very, very or education. They became teachers,
All right, all right.
and
There's
you know,
redemption. There's a possibility for redemption, but it
yes,
also
but
goes to the character question. It goes to the character
that's right.
question. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. We had the reversals in the economics, and that could lead to Trump being in trouble. But these
In one
reversals
week, we
in the
had
courts.
multiple federal court decisions. That's right. Not
Yeah.
only at
I
the
mean,
district level, but also at the appeals level.
right. So we got the tariffs,
Yes,
illegal. We've got
yeah,
Harvard, the taking away of billions of dollars, illegal, can't do it.
which is
And
important not only to Harvard, that's important to all of major research universities, major and
yeah,
minor, regardless of whether
yeah,
or not you're a level one or a level two or three research institution. The kind of things that Trump was doing in the name of destroying DEI, anything having to do with DEI, was they
yeah.
wanted to control all of the elements and functions of the administration of the universities. That's what they
And,
wanted. They wanted to
yeah,
they wanted to control hiring. They wanted to
yeah.
control classroom content.
Curriculum,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
And admissions. No, they wanted to get into everything, and
That's right. Everything. Absolutely.
that's the overreach.
And America is letting them. America is
Yeah.
letting them. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that's the thing. It's like the guy wakes up and says, "What unconstitutional, illegal thing can I do today?" And then it's all up to the courts to say, "Oh,
Actually,
you can't do
people
that."
are going to think you're exaggerating, but you're not. That is actually the way the guy thinks. It's not that he's
Exactly.
thinking, what can I do that's unconstitutional? It's what do I want to do? Okay. And how far can I push it? And, and before somebody says that it's illegal or unconstitutional. And right now,
Right.
he's gotten away with about 7 months. He's gotten away
Yeah,
with
because
about 7 months, and tens of
it's right.
thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people unemployed. So he's going to increase employment by firing hundreds of thousands of federal employees. The ripple effect also ends up with people at the state level losing their jobs at the defunding, right, that they've been doing on a massive scale, right,
Mhm.
results in people being laid off even by major corporations, right? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they're starting to lay people off. You know, I expect to see Walmart laying people off, right? You know,
Oh yeah,
so
everyone the big tech companies are laying off people,
oh
and
yeah,
yeah,
that's local. Yeah,
and
that's
that's
happening
local,
right here.
So, I
So
mean,
he
the thing is, yeah, Donald Trump really does wake up and say, what can I do that is unconstitutional, unlawful?" Then he gets away with, he does it, and then time passes, and then people normalize the action, right?
yeah, I
It's
don't see when we
normalized, and
say
this,
I see. I have a problem with the use of the word normalize because it sounds active. It sounds like people are
yeah,
actively considering what's going on and then saying, I
oh,
accept that.
right,
I
right.
think they just ignore it, and I think they just let it pass. They
It's
take
just,
a very,
yeah,
it's very passive. It's very
right,
passive.
very it's passive. It's like when I park my car like 5 blocks away and then walk, and that's my passive exercise. Where I
That's
park
that's
my car
still
10 blocks away,
that's still
and then I
kind of
walk.
active. That's still kind of active. That's still kind of
But
active.
that's
Passive
passive. It's just like
Passive,
I'm
no,
not
no,
doing
no.
exercise,
Okay,
just
you're going to
walking.
use that example. I'll tell you what passive is. The example that I have is you
Oh,
get
like being
people
dead.
who drive around in the parking lot 3 or 4 times until a slot closest to the front door of the friggin' market, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay, opens up. That's really passive.
yeah. Yeah, that's just you just wait. Yeah. All right, that's
Yeah,
fast. All right, but the thing is, it's happened, the reversal has come, but just because it's reversed at the
it's
court
going to
level, at the
SCOTUS.
district or federal
It's
court, it's
going
got
to
to go to the
SCOTUS.
courts. Yeah.
It is
And
going
we
to
know
SCOTUS. And
that he's got
Amy,
them
your cousin Amy says that we're not in a constitutional crisis. And then she went on to
Amy,
say, you know, where would we be? We would be in a constitutional crisis if the courts began to fail. And what cracks
uh,
me up is she's saying that all of these other resistant decisions at the district
mhm,
level and at the appellate level, right? She's saying
mhm,
that's a sign of the propriety, right, and
mhm,
of the protection of the constitutional process, right, being done
mhm.
by the courts, by federal courts. At the same time, the court that she sits on has been making decisions that reverse those reversals. So
Yeah.
where are we,
Well,
man?
yeah. I mean, just
What's she
look at
talking
affirmative
about?
action. Look at the Harvard case. I mean, Judge Burroughs did the best by saying the $2 billion, we're going to protect that. You can't do that. It belongs to Harvard. All right, great. However, remember the affirmative action case. Judge Burroughs ruled for Harvard. It went to the Supreme Court. What happened there?
Yep,
It just simply got tossed, and affirmative action is gone. She
that's it.
she upheld it. Supreme Court reversed,
Yep,
and that's it. Well, the other aspect to that Harvard case is, and it's a private university,
yep.
and I guess that argument doesn't hold much water because it doesn't seem to stop Donald Trump, but the fact that it's a private university is doesn't that say something about what it can or can't do, what the government can or can't do to Harvard?
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. But I think the bigger issue is whether or not the American people understand the need for the independence of colleges and universities.
Oh,
They're supposed to be places
I
that encourage people, that train people on how to think independently, how to think morally,
freely.
ethically, right? Morally and ethically, right? And that's one of the look at,
Dan, Dan,
well,
what
there
you
was
want the
no
perfect
ethics. There
world,
was no
Dan? You want
ethics
the
subject
perfect
matter
world?
on the bar exam until Watergate happened. The reason that there's an ethics
Yeah.
requirement on the bar exams is because of Watergate. Okay? People got to
Yeah.
understand that the Nixon administration was the provocation, and all of the unconstitutional things that they did were the provocation for the ethics. Ethics being a bar
See,
exam question set.
See, you bring up a good point that it came up because of
Okay.
Watergate and Nixon, because I think heretofore it were before that point, it was always just presumed we are ethical, we're honest, we're trustworthy, right? I mean, I think because there's a lot of things we assume that we are going to do the right way or we're going to do the right thing for the country, but it never works that way. And and the same thing you could do an analogous thing with healthcare.
That's
Doctors.
right.
Do doctors
Yes,
know
yes.
anything about nutrition? Do they know? No, they know their specialty, right? They know, but out here, can they talk about nutrition? Can they talk about how it affects the heart? No, they know about the heart through their little hole, which is like an artery, and that's all they know. But they don't know how to prevent heart disease by using diet. I mean, because they don't, they're not trained in that. And some doctors now are saying, well, I need to know about nutrition. So they're going back to school and getting continuing ed. But that's when I talk to doctors who promote veganism, that's one of the biggest things they say. They say, doctors in general, 80-90% of the doctors don't know anything about nutrition.
Yeah.
That's not in their study guide. They go to school for so long and they leave that out because they're so busy, going to sleep, going to school, going to sleep, going to school, eating at McDonald's, and then going to sleep, I mean, that's what they know. So that's why people are stuck with this standard American diet, the sad diet, and
Well,
dying.
that's the minority of doctors practicing general medicine, down on the ground, patient care, family medicine. The majority are not DOs. DOs are famously very careful about nutrition. They see a direct relationship, right, between what you're eating, what you're drinking,
Yeah,
and our family doctors, all three of them were, particularly the last two, have been DOs. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. There's a lot of different types of ways to call yourself a doc or to be your doc or be a practitioner, and some people even don't even get DOs. They get NPs, right?
yeah,
They get the nurses because there's not enough
and
doctors.
NPs,
Sad to say,
PAs. You get a PA. You get a
yeah, you can
physician's
import them
assistant.
all from India. There's not enough of them. They should import them all from India. They should,
Yeah.
but the smart ones say, "Screw this! I'm going into TV. I'm going to be a TV doc." So,
Well,
all right.
yeah, and they're doing that. They're doing that. They're
Oh
actually
yeah,
doing that. If you want
it,
to see a real ethnic invasion, right, of the United States,
yeah.
it's South Asians, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, like you want to see that here in Canada. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I do a lot of my research in a Lyft or an Uber, and I talk to the drivers, and the drivers are all South Asian, Punjabi, a lot here in BC, but throughout they've been from Bangladesh and all sorts of places. A lot of immigrants, the Uber drivers, and today, it's a driving story. They busted that Hyundai plant in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they got
It
a
was,
lot of Koreans. They got a lot
yeah.
of Koreans,
A
and
lot of
so
Korean nationals.
if you're
The
gonna,
majority, the
yeah,
majority of the people they busted were Korean nationals, and you got ICE saying they're all illegal. They're all
yeah.
undocumented. They're all illegal. Oh shit.
Well, the thing is, uh, if you're gonna play by the rules, you want to bring your manufacturing here. You should not have all Korean nationals working. You should hire some documented Hispanics and maybe some Filipinos and maybe some whites and maybe I mean that's the whole thing. But like Tesla abuses the hell out of the visa program. They hire the H1B engineers and then cut them loose and send them back, and they use them up. So
Yeah,
I
just
mean
like the
it's a not
Bracero program. This is They want
yeah.
to run everything like the Bracero program of the 1950s.
Right.
Yeah.
Only for a little higher up, they're making slightly more money, and it's
Oh
slightly
yeah,
more
no,
prestigious,
but
high tech.
it's
But
the process. The process is the same.
right,
We want to let him in on contracts. He did that during his first. He tried to pass that during his first administration.
yeah,
Biden had the opportunity. Biden had the opportunity that, over that 8-year period, to do something about the influx of undocumenteds across the border, and they didn't do it.
mm,
They had an
yeah,
opportunity to do that, for several times over the 8-year period, and they didn't do it. And I still don't
yeah,
understand why they didn't move on it. What
yeah.
what
Well,
was
there's
he
all
so
sorts
afraid
of.
of?
It was a good talking point, but then other things come up, and I mean, look at the DACA folks. When are they going to move on DACA? When are they going to, if at all? It's just going to be one of those the can that they perpetually kick down the road but do nothing about. And then meanwhile, you'll probably have people dying from on the DACA rolls, right? You're waiting for some kind of answer. Are they citizens? Are they not? Do they have a pathway to citizenship? No, they died in the process, just like the soldiers, right? The Philippine veterans waiting for their pay to be made whole. They end up
Yeah.
dying, before they were even paid for fighting in World War II. So I think that's a real possibility of happening. That would be really ironic, don't you think? The DACA recipients waiting for the pathway to citizenship end up dying in America without a country
Well,
because they're a DACA.
yeah. Well, they were pretty young. I don't know.
Well, that's good. Well, the oldest was
Yep.
30, so that might have been 20 years ago,
Yeah.
15 years ago. So they could be
Yeah. So
45,
yeah,
50.
yeah, it'll
So
happen. If you're saying it could happen, it could happen.
yeah, and
They could
then
die. They could die before it gets
yeah,
cleaned up. But
I know.
it all comes down to this, right? Everybody's looking at the 26 next year and the midterm elections, and I keep telling you the same stuff, right? That they got to win both houses, and then the lower house has to go after the Trump administration hard. Okay, I really doubt that Democrats of the age group that is in office right now have what it takes to go really hard. Okay. Part of the reason that we're stuck in this awful place that we're in right now, with people's actual immediate health being at risk, right? We're about to
Mhm.
enter in the flu season. There's going to be a COVID uptick, right? Kids
Mhm.
have not been getting their vaccinations, and they just started school. So let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Let's see if there's an explosion of MMR
we're
issues,
gonna
right?
see
Measles,
maybe
mumps, rubella.
maybe
Yeah,
see son of COVID come back.
yeah,
I mean, it's
yep,
remarkable. A lot of these people, I'm at the fringe, and a lot of people will comment about, oh, we were doing this. Oh, that was before COVID, because between 2021 and
yeah.
2023, the fringes were shut down. There were no festivals, and now we're back in it. It's just 2 years in, and we say, oh wow, what happened? Oh, there was nothing between 2021 and 2023, and that's 2 years of fringing. Anyway, hey, I want to talk about a couple other things. Two more things. Jeffrey Epstein. The victims came out.
That was terrific. That
Trump
was
said it was
terrific.
a hoax. Trump said it was a hoax, but not as big a hoax as a hoax that said he was dead. He's not dead, and that's good.
No,
But
he's
I
just
was
dead
kind of
between the
surprised.
ears. He's dead between the
Well,
ears.
no, democracy is dying. Trump isn't dying. That's the thing. Democracy. But here's the thing about the Epstein. He doesn't want people to talk about Epstein, but I don't think he can kill the story, because those women who were out there this week, they're very compelling, and then
Absolutely.
they. I mean, I don't know how much more you need to hear. That's why, a little goes a long way. I don't really need to know the detail, but there's something about what's in those files that he does not want you to see. And maybe it's because it's a lot closer, and the fear of blackmail was a lot more real. And, on and on, all the things that compromise, uh, Trump's presidency are in those files. And He doesn't
Well,
want to
it's
talk.
it's going to
I
be
just
really it's going to be really far reaching. You know what gets disclosed. The other 99 or 97%, of what's
Mhm.
not available, right? Uh,
Yeah.
it's going to disclose much more than about Trump. I once again I caution against just focusing on Trump. I think there is going to be mention of him. Okay, they're going to redact it or attempt to redact it. Remember what was remember what was happening with the Mueller,
Yeah.
disclosure. Okay, what did they do? They redacted it and or they referred to him as number one, right?
One. Yeah. Number one, number two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
number one.
So it's Mr. Black Line. Mr. Black
Yeah,
Line here. Mr.
number one.
Yeah.
Okay, and
So who knows? But
you could
I
describe him. You could describe him by weight and height, but then you would be disclosing the truth about
yeah.
his physical condition.
Yeah. Hey, have you
He
seen the
was
latest
supposed to have
South
died
Park?
yesterday, right? September 4th, I thought.
The what?
He was supposed to have died yesterday, right? September 4th.
Well, he was supposed to have died. Some internet rumor, but I don't believe the internet, and I don't want Trump to die. I do not. I honestly do not want Trump to die. I want him to be held accountable. I want him to be
Sure.
held accountable. That's I
There
don't
you
want him to
go.
die.
I
He's like
agree.
the
I
he's like
agree.
he's like the school shooter. I don't want him to kill. Don't kill him. Don't kill that guy. I want
Well,
to
I got
talk to him. I
another.
want
I
to
have a
find
more
out.
selfish reason. I have a more selfish reason for
Yeah.
not wanting him to die, besides wanting him
Yeah.
to be held accountable. It's because we would get
Mm.
J.D. Vance.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh, that would be
that's
bad.
why.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So, all right. There's one thing you want to talk. You want to talk about the trans gun issue. What is this whole thing about the trans gun issue? Because that was one of the issues
They're
that
dangerous
we got to talk
people.
about this.
They're dangerous people. Okay, okay. This guy that killed those innocent kids. Okay,
Yeah.
he's transgender or she or what? He's
Yeah.
transgender, and
Uh,
so that you got to do it.
Robin,
So
or
I
she.
went
It's
and I looked
she.
it up. I looked
Robin
it up, and
Russell.
I looked it up, and it said 0.087 of
What?
gun violence was committed by
Mm,
transgender people. On the
right.
other
So
hand,
this is
on the
yeah.
other hand, 60% of all gun violence is committed by white men, regardless of gender, sexuality, whatever. There you go.
So we should take the guns away from the
So,
white men.
yes,
Take the
I
guns away
keep
from the white men.
saying, I keep saying,
Take,
you
eh,
know,
oh,
who,
you take
who's
the
the
guns away from the
perpetrator?
white men. Only the brown
And
guys will have guns.
okay. Here's the other thing, right? The transgender people suffer a greater degree of violence than any other group by per
Mm.
capita. So they should be the ones who get armed. This is crazy. They should be the one
Oh, they should.
who if we're going to
That's
honor the Second Amendment, then the people who are most likely to be the victims of violence, right? Need to protect themselves. And that means women, all right? They need to
yeah.
be protected. They need to carry arms, okay? And transgender people, LGBTQ people in general need to be fully armed. I want them, okay, to be not only regular weapons but fully automatic weapons because the threats against them are so massive in both volume, right, and degree.
And yet, the people, the politicians want to take guns away from trans
That's it.
people, right?
That's it. you know,
It's
you know,
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I,
Well, I mean,
they
it
would
just
learn.
exposes the illogic to
You see, the problem
exposes the
the
illogic.
problem with the MAGAs and the Mahas is that they don't go and they have never experienced a gay pride parade. Okay, if they would go to a
Yeah.
gay pride parade and just hang out, even if they don't parade, right? If they just hang
Yeah.
out, if they just witness the thing, their attitude about stuff
Hey,
like,
wait.
okay,
Yeah.
let's make sure that transgender people can't get guns. Listen, man, they also keep saying that it's just a problem with mental health. And then they defund mental health, right? Okay. They close down
Oh,
hospitals.
That
They,
doesn't make
they
sense.
make it very difficult for psychologists and psychiatrists to do their damn job. You know, that's what we
Mhm.
get.
Yeah. Well, look, this is the thing. This is the thing. I just think that what you're saying uh, exposes the illogic of the people who are in charge. And I saw that headline about how people want to take ban guns from transgender after the incident in Minnesota. But it's just another knee jerk political reaction. Okay, one more thing. One more thing. And I want to mention this because we're going to try to keep this to an hour or so. But, here I am in Canada. And, my father came, our fathers came in the 20s and 30s. We're older, Filipinos. And, you think, oh, by now, things will have advanced for our peoples, right? Our peoples will have advanced. And here I am in Canada. And I guess because the movement of people never ends. The diaspora of the Filipinos never ends. I'm at a bus stop waiting, and there is, with this young 2-year-old white child, a Filipino nanny.
Okay,
And
not a rare event,
nannies are like
a very frequent event.
that. It isn't rare, but that's my point. I mean, you can talk about the nurses, but we also have the nanny issue, and I don't think people really talk about it. But this is how people come over to North America. In this case, I mean, I've seen nannies in Central Park, so it happens in the U.S., of course, but it's happening in Canada. And the privileged are able to hire these nannies to take care of their kids, and these kids become essentially point 0.5
Yeah,
Filipinos, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and they
yeah,
I
and they
mean,
take
I
pride
mean
in
they
it.
they are.
They take pride in it, and they correct their parents when their parents mispronounce the Filipino words.
Yeah, I mean the kids are eating lumpias, the kids are eating,
Yeah.
they're eating the mango ice cream, and it's like, where did you learn this? Oh, from our nanny, and from Marites, from and it's like they're
Ubi,
becoming
ubi, and
Filipino.
ubi is my favorite.
Ubi, yeah. There they got the ubi babies. It's the ubi babies.
I just
That's
happen
what
to
they
have. I
are.
just
And
happen to
and I'm
have.
just thinking,
I have something that would be very complementary to your line of thinking right now, and that is
what's
out.
that?
The Tizon book right here.
Oh, Allison. What's oh
Yeah,
yeah. Wait.
invisible.
It was flipped over. What
Oh
what is
yeah,
the
I
the
I
the
I
title?
have my thing backwards.
Yeah, it should be on non-mirror, so I couldn't read it.
That's
This
right.
is what T's the T's book on. This is the Little Man, or which one?
No, it's invisible people.
Is this new?
Invisible people.
Is this new?
No, no, this
Yeah,
I
it's been
didn't.
out. It's been out. Yeah.
I've had it. I've had this almost 10 years, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's been around. I remember he did one called Little Big Man or something. That was
Yeah,
his last one. But the late Alex Tuzon, the late
15 years,
Alex
man.
Tuzon. Yeah,
15
it's
years.
something. No, I
Unfortunately,
like I passed
I
away.
used you interviewed him, didn't you? Yeah, I thought you
Yeah,
interviewed him.
I know Al. I knew Alex. I mean, not well, but we
Yeah,
talked to each other, and I did interview him about his books when he came out, and I met his widow. No, it was very sad when he passed away. Young guy
yeah.
too.
I met his brother, and he's got two nieces that live in the Bay Area. At least I don't know if they're still here. I haven't seen them for about
Yeah,
10 years.
I liked Alex a lot, and he was a gifted writer, and he won a Pulitzer.
Well,
Investigating
yeah, I think our point
investigating
is
Boeing.
that
Yeah.
yeah, I think our point is that uh, his effect on the Filipino American community and the image of the Filipino American community nationally, right, was
Hmm.
very much affected by his book and by the articles that were published in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Very much
Well,
affected.
the th- well, I thought. yes, but no. I mean, yes, people saw it, but you know, we're still like I'm in Canada, and uh, to see people, and this is happening in the U.S. too. The entree point is still for the majority of people, restaurants and service work, and people, the people who come over with with degrees or looking to be educated typically are still, there's still the among the rich, the just like they came in the 20s if they were from the Philippines and they studied, right? And then the Filipino man. Now the real interesting area would be Filipino Americans like you and I. Like what did we do? What and there are Filipinos in fields, working in the high rises and the the corner offices. You don't see them often, but they're there. It's a handful, and but they're overwhelmed by the number of people in the other fields because that's the way the immigration works, and that's how much the door is limited in terms of how open it is to Filipinos. Not very much. I mean, how many other Filipinos? I mean, maybe in the academic world there are slightly fewer, slightly more Filipinos, but in the broadcast world, when I was coming up, there weren't that many Filipinos.
No,
A handful. You
you
know,
and Lloyd
and
locally,
yeah, and the nurses, tons of Filipinos. And the nannies, tons of Filipinos. And the restaurants, tons of Filipinos. The cooks in the culinary trade, tons of Filipinos still. And even some second generation. And there's nothing wrong with that. My late cousin Chris was a chef at some of the high tech dining establishments within the tech businesses. They'd hire these chefs to cook
yeah,
for
that's right.
their employees. And oh,
Yeah,
my cousin Charmaine. I have another cousin who's the general manager of one of the hottest Japanese sushi places, bistros in downtown San Francisco, the hottest.
which
So
one? Which one?
um, she ran a thing called Shota, um, which was an omakase place, and now they've got a sister station or sister establishment. So it's my cousin, the only Guillermo there. She's like the general manager. I mean, she's really um, quite a player in the restaurant world, the local restaurant world. And because I know she's not a cook, but she comes from a long line of cooks, and and she's really successful, and I'm really proud of her. So, but
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
the generation that's a little bit younger than us. They were very adventurous when it came to doing entering the culinary professions. A lot of them went to culinary academies and
oh
started
yeah,
cooking at various restaurants. So there's a strong showing there in that group that's
mm.
younger than us. Full generation younger than
Well,
us. What is missing
okay,
is not enough people going into the high paced sciences other than computers. So we
mhm.
got some going into computers. I hope that they understand that AI means that coding is done. You're
Yeah.
going to have to
Well,
do more than, yeah,
yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I think that there's some in the tech world. I mean, the Filipino techies, they're there's a lot of them. You look
there
at
are a lot.
the Philippines. Yeah, they're into. But
Yeah,
we need to see more Dante Banataos. We need to see more,
sure.
uh, of the investor types. We need to see more of the. Well, here's the other thing. We need to see more Filipinos in public service in the higher levels. Like Rob Bonta is the best example right now, right? Because he's leading the charge against the leading the charge against Trump and his encroachments into all these areas like tariffs and you know stating emergencies there where there are none.
Well,
And
it's an odd situation, right? Because we have states' rights versus federal power, and
Hmm.
usually states' rights arguments were being made from the right
Yeah.
against
Sure.
allegedly liberal
Yeah.
actions taken at the federal level, right? And so
Like
now we have a
slavery,
reversal
states'
of that.
rights.
That's right.
Yeah.
States'
Yeah.
rights.
Well, and that's the thing about seeing someone like Bonta leading the charge as a Filipino AG, which is great, and it's like we at this point we need to be seeing more of those people so that not just Filipinos notice, but non-Filipinos notice, and so that it's not just Filipinos in. And I know I don't mean to pick on the nannies because they have an important job, but when say 70% of the people think of Filipino, they think of nurses and the nannies. That's not good. Now we're still back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, right? Or 50s and 60s and 70s, or 80s and 90s
Well,
and
there was a time
2000s.
when that was changed. There was a time when that was changing, Emil, and that was when we were coming up. When we were in our 20s and 30s, that image was changing, but it was changing largely because of immigrants
Mhm.
arriving with skills. They had been professionals in the Philippines. They had gotten high level, graduate level educations, and when they arrived here, they were challenged by the requirements for professional certification. Okay. And as a result, they were able to work within the fields that they were trained in, that they had experience in, but at a lower
Right.
non
No,
certified
no,
level. They would have to challenge exams to become accountants.
yeah, that,
Okay. But they did work in large scale engineering
yeah,
companies. They did work for Bechtel. They did work for Fairchild.
yes.
They did work for Variant.
I
Okay.
knew some of
Okay.
those.
The problem
Yeah.
is but my point is they
Oh,
retired
yeah.
and there
Well,
wasn't a replacement
well, that's
generation.
the thing.
Okay.
You get
So
that
that's why that's
you get
changed.
that seed that seed generation, and they don't flower, and so now a new generation comes up.
Same thing with civil service. Same thing with civil service jobs.
Yeah.
Remember when we would go to City
Yeah.
Hall or to the State Department buildings, and you'd see Filipinos all over the
Yeah.
place, doing clerical work a lot of the time,
Yeah.
right? But nonetheless, it was important work.
Yeah.
I
Well,
it served me really well
yeah.
because when I had to get stuff signed off, when when I had to get judges' signatures on things for
Uh,
TROs, okay,
r-
it really helped
right.
that I would walk into the counter and there's four Filipinos,
Yeah. Look, I know how that feels too. But I guess I'm just struck by the fact that here I am, modern times. I'm in Canada, and the first Filipinos I see are restaurant workers, nannies,
Yeah,
food
sure.
truck guys, and the food truck
Sure.
guys are like they're entrepreneurial. But I wrote this in my column on in Inquirer.net. The food truck guys in Edmonton, they're blown up, and they use Senor Sisig as a kind of model, and they are going out there making their mobile restaurants, and they're great places. And but what is their origin story? One of the guys was from Tondo, married, came to Canada, worked in a hotel, married his wife who worked in housekeeping, their dream to own their own truck, and now they want multiple trucks and they're building. But I guess it's just that we're recycling the immigrant story. It's the same one.
Yes,
It's not
yes.
like we're building on, okay, you're the professor, now here comes a new one, and he's like the dean, and then his kids become the president, and of the college, or I'm the journalist, right? And then my kids become the editors, and then they become the managers and the heads of ABC or
We
NBC.
still have the same problem, as an educator, and we still have the same problem that we had 50 years ago,
What's that?
which is you don't have enough people going on to graduate school. Graduate school, they got to get more than the BA. They even got to go. 30 years ago, I was telling people who were business majors, you better go get your MBA.
Yeah.
because the BA alone is just going to mean an entry level job. You're going to get really frustrated.
Yeah,
So the BA is good for hitting the sales
but
floor,
Dan,
but you know,
Dan, what about where we are now, especially with Trump, right? Really pretty much neutering higher ed. And some would say even devaluing higher ed, like, oh, the college degree, we don't need a college degree. Oh, you don't need to finish.
no,
You don't need.
it's worse than that. It's
Well, you're
yeah,
right. That's
I
what I
think you're
mean.
right.
It's worse than that.
It, it was already being devalued. It was pre-Trump. It was already being devalued.
Mm,
Okay, because only certain areas like the MBA were getting rewarded with six-figure salaries right back then.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
right out of the box.
mm.
I mean, if you had an MBA, you could get 100,000, 120,000 right out of the box. And I'm using that dollar value from 20 years ago, 30 years
Oh
ago.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. That was a lot of money.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. That was good money.
Well, but
And,
now
and so
now it's not good
that and
money.
the sciences and computers. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, now it's nothing.
Well, not if the
In
scale.
my classes, I would ask students, I asked students in my classes, okay, how much would it take for you to move into a single family home these days, or even just to get an apartment?
Yeah.
How much money would you need,
Hmm,
right?
hmm.
And every once in a while, you'll get a kid in there that has got either a lawyer in the family somewhere, or more likely somebody involved in real estate. And then I'd say, how much money would you need?
Yeah.
How could an individual, let's say an individual is looking to get a one bedroom
Yeah.
apartment
Well, that
in the city,
see,
how much money would
well,
you
see
need?
now you're talking about generational wealth. That's how you build on generational wealth, and that's how and
That's gone. That's done.
yeah, and you do it with education.
They're down. The current generation is 30% lower than our generation.
Yeah. See, and
The
that
current generation is 30% lower.
and this is what I mean about, we ought to be having that, if you are on the shoulders of, the people who come before you, right? There should be that effect of, we're always climbing, but we're always immigrating. So we don't have that ladder effect. We have we're like bunched up at the bottom, all climbing up individually. And so we got the nannies and we got, the nurses and
Well, it
I
was
don't
a
know. I
different time.
just
There were more opportunities. It was a different time, and we were fighting for equity and justice. Okay, so
yeah.
all of that was happening at the same time, and we made substantial gains. Okay,
But now,
the very fact that, yeah, it's all being reversed, and the attack is very clear, right?
mm,
What they mean when they attack DEI is they were attacking affirmative action in any form. Okay, and when
right.
they attack DEI, they're also attacking ethnic studies in any form. Okay,
Oh
and
yeah.
that
Well, that's
that
why
is
no one's going to learn about the U.S. Philippine War. No one's going to know about that. No one's going to know about the lynching of
well,
Filipinos in the 1920s and 30s.
we can use the social media effectively, and I think you've
Yeah.
been using social media effectively. I haven't been using it as much because I'm
Well,
so inefficient.
I don't know if I'm using it effectively, but look, Dan, I appreciate you chiming in on today. I got to talk to you on the other side, but let's end our discussion now so people can just like watch it over and over and over again over the next couple days. But I appreciate you being with us, with me, talking about things. I'm gonna end
Okay.
up talking about
Well,
my
thanks
friend's
for
son.
having me. I thought it was
Yeah,
lively, and we hit on major topics.
yeah, yes,
Sometimes with a
yes,
lot of
and I
sarcasm.
Oh yeah, of course, of course, of course, of course. So there he is, Daniel Phil Gonzalez, my friend, Professor Emeritus, College of Ethnic Studies, San Francisco State University, Asian American Studies, and if you haven't noticed, a Filipino American. There he goes, Daniel Phil Gonzalez. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, thank you, Dan. Oh, your exit button won't go. I can't, I can't, I cannot, I cannot set your exit button. I don't know why. Why is that? Why is it won't let me get rid of you. You're like now see now that's weird. That's weird. It says no, Dan cannot go. Dan is not allowed to go. I can't switch him left. I can't switch him right. Oh, well, what happened here? Okay, so Dan, you're just there. You're just trying to let you go gracefully into the sunset. And then it says, no, this guy's not moving. This guy's not. I could make you diminutive. No, I can't even do that. Something's wrong with my computer. It's not. It's acting up. Oh, now he's gone. Now it says Dan's gone, or Dan's frozen, or something. All right, he's frozen. He's frozen. Dan is frozen, and I'm here with you. Hey, thank you for joining us today. This is a frozen thing. Uh, a reminder: if you just joined late, hey, there's a QR code. Yes, it's Emil Amok 69. The QR code. Check out the show. The show. It's Emil Amok 69. You can see it upright or upside down, however you wish. The next showings are at. Oh, when are they? Oh, here they are. Saturday 9/16 or 9/6 at 7:30. Saturday 9/6. Wednesday 9/10 5 p.m. Hey, I'll get a chance to see Vancouver maybe. Thursday 9/11. Oh, the 9/11 show. I got a 9/11 story. I haven't. Well, I've told, but a long time ago. 9:25 or yeah 9:25 p.m. Thursday, the 9/11 story. Friday, 9/12 at 6:15 p.m. That's a good time. And Sunday, 9/14 at 4:20 p.m. And then I come home. I'm an American. I have a passport. I know I look American. I don't look. I look more Canadian actually. Actually, it's at the review stage. It's Emil Amok 69. Everything's slipped. And you see that little QR code? If you just click on the QR code, this thing. Oop, there. Click on that. You will go to the box office and get a ticket. I get a ticket. You pay a little price, but you get a ticket. Emil Amok 69. Everything slipped. All right. So thank you for joining us today. Been traveling, so we're on sporadically, but you caught us now. You caught us. Um, we like to close. Whoa, 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 whoa. We like to close with a little loving kindness because love makes the world go around. You know that. It's true. And so, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Ease. And so, till next time, Emil Guillermo here. Emil, I'm up to you. Don't forget the Fringe, the Vancouver Fringe. Saturday night, 7:30. Review stage, Granville Island. You got to be there. Till next time, Emil Amok here.